everyone. Just gonna fix the camera here. Welcome back to my art journaling. I have decided that I want to do this particular art journal instead of on a page. I want to do it on a canvas. I don't know why. I just feel like I do. So I'm just going to start spraying this with all kinds of like delusion sprays and all kinds of sprays. I don't even know what colors. I'm just going to go to town with this. And you know me, I talk and work at the same time, so that's what I'm going to do. I have some images here that I took. Remember this Night Watch book that I got at a garage sale? It has the greatest images. So I'm going to cut some of those out, so I'll do that a bit later. But I'm going to move them because I don't want them to get spray all over them. So today I'm just going to talk about pretty much life like I always do. But do you know how when you've gone through a rough time or, you know, you've gone through a very difficult time in your life, like, and you're passing through it and everything appears to be just great. You're like, oh, I got through that. Wow. Like, even if it's something like grief, like I've come to the other side. It's not pretty. And I've made it through. I have made it through this. And then, bam-o, out of nowhere, you start crying, you're upset. This particular spray is called Irresistible, and it's a textured spray, but it's a blue. Okay, that last bit was really blurry. I don't know what the heck happened. So I changed it to the autofocus lens instead because I have no idea what was going on. So let me just... Good thing I checked it. I would hate for the whole video to have been like that. So I'm still spraying. I sort of borrowed a lid from another spray thing, and so I'm just kind of jimmied it up a little bit so I can get this teal zeal spray. So I have to come from this angle. There, that's probably good enough. It'll add a little bit of texture. But anyway, like I was saying, you know, you're going through life, just everything's going wonderful. And then you think, what the heck? I thought I was past this point. I thought everything was okay. And, you know, like that happened to me actually. And I try to only speak from my own experience. And then I talked to someone about it. And they said, although you're where you need to be right now, where you should be and where you want to be and all of that, or maybe you're not, but in my case I am, there is a point in your life where you are grieving, and that's how grief is. You're grieving whatever. You're grieving the changes. You're grieving what was. You're adjusting. Your body and brain do not catch up with each other at the exact same time. And so you have to be patient with yourself. And I think the best way to get through those kinds of moments is to feel them. It's kind of like when people have anxiety attacks, which I've had. You have to let yourself go through it instead of trying to hold it back. Or like if there's tears, you're trying to hold them back. Let them flow, let it go, and then that moment will soon pass. I am loving how this, whatever that is happening. Isn't that cool? So I'm just going to go let this dry. I'll be back. Okay, from that astrology book, I had cut out a whole bunch of circles, and they're actually the earth, but it's the earth, not looking down on the earth, but the circle. Like, I'm going to hold this piece up to you so you can see, like, there's houses and trees. If you, there's a little light in that house. So it's like looking, I'm not sure what from perspective, but anyway, it's like we are on this earth. And there's a song I was listening to, and the singer is Alan Stone, and the song is Circle. And it just resonates with me sometimes when I'm feeling in that, you know, that place where I'm so sad and wondering how I'm going to get out of this and what is wrong with me, why should I be sad and all that. And there's a line in there, and he says, out of the circles there are no corners to hide, because the circle, there's no corner, there's no hard edges, there's nowhere you can go and hide, because you're right in it. You are in it, and no matter where you go, you're still in it, in the circle of sadness, grief, loss, disappointment, whatever that is. And that line just sticks, so you have to deal with it. You're in it, so you might as well deal, because there's no corners to hide. And so that's what attracted me to circles. And then when I started looking in that book, I was like, oh my goodness, love these circles. And I mean, literally, I've been thinking about this for some time, and I just this morning looked in that book to see if I could find like one circle, and there was all these. So it just spoke to me. And then I had them all kind of as a whole. They're not glued down or anything. And then I wanted them all joined to each other in some sort of like concentric circles, I guess. So I cut pieces off some of them so this way they're all connected to each other. So I'm going to go ahead and put these down now. I like this placement. So I'm going to put them down with some gel medium I have. So I've got all of my circles adhered down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Inktense, that's what they're called. So it's a pencil where you can go around the edges of things. So it looks black. I hope you guys can see this. Try and get the light so you can see. So you can see how I'm going around, and it's black. And then I will just go in with my finger or a brush. Oh, yeah. And it's also all the edges of where I've cut the circles out that are white there. Like right there. Here's one right here you can see. It's going to color those in really good. Yeah, because you know, sometimes you're in this mess and it hits you out of nowhere. It's like a meteor in the universe, just knocks your socks off, and there's no walls or corners to hide. You're in it. You are in it. And so you just need to ride the wave of the sadness or the grief until it's gone. So I have a little paintbrush. Let's see. Way back here behind me. Which one? I'm just going to use one like this that has a squared off tip to it. There. So I'm going to dip it in a little water, and I'm just going to dab it on my apron. There we go. You get that neat smudgy look. See? And then when you do this, to me, it makes it look like you're glued on or gelled on images all become a part of one. They're all one. Instead of something glued on, it looks like it's just all just a part of the whole. It's not separate pieces. It just all becomes one. Love it. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this, and I'm going to glue down the edges that are loose, and I'll be right back. So I hope you can see how I've smudged those edges. Can you see that? And then I just took my finger while it was still a little bit damp, and I just went in and really smudged it all, so it's very smudged and charcoal looking, and I love how it looks there. Another reason I wanted to use the globes, other than the circles where there's no place to hide, no corners to hide behind, you're just everywhere you go, you're in it. Also, when you're going through this kind of pain, and especially if it's recurring, it seems like the world is still rotating and everything's going on, everybody's going on about their business, but you are in this, And so I just kind of wanted to show how this representing my world, and it's just always just going, and you think you're centered, you're doing really good, you're doing everything, you even can be really, really happy in one moment, and then bam, something just triggers it, and it knocks you right off your center, like you're just knocked off the center. So I wanted to draw an image of me knocked off the center, but I'm not the best artist when it comes to drawing. So I found this image on Google, just looked up an image, and I found this tree, and it was pulled, and I thought, that's how I want to represent me being pulled off center. I'm still kind of rooted here, but I'm pulled off center. So I took this image, and from this image, I drew, this is me. And so I just colored it with Pitt pen, and I drew it on that newsprint stuff. And I'm just going to adhere it down like this. And she's just being pulled off center. You see? Trying to stay grounded, but all of a sudden, whammo, something just, some memory, a smell, a song, anything, and it throws you off, and you think, geez, I was doing so good. But, it's just a constant reminder to just go with the flow. There's like this life journey that we're on, there are no dress rehearsals, there's no script telling you how you're going to react to something, how long you're going to be in it, or be with your pain, or whatever it is. Like, sometimes just a major change in someone's life, especially if it was an unexpected one, can just throw them all off kilter. And you have to be really careful, because when those things happen like that, sudden illness, sudden separation, grief, you can become very, very sick. And that's why you have to honor yourself. When this happens, when you get pulled and you just are off center, you know what? Don't be afraid. Don't let the fear get to you thinking, what's going on with me? Why am I feeling this way? Just go with how you are feeling, and find a really, really good friend you can trust and talk to. And if you don't have a friend and you believe in God, pray for strength to get you through that moment, or that uncentering, unnerving, uncentering, sad, scary moment. And that phrase, this too shall pass. It will pass. It always does. And the universe keeps spinning, whether we are focused or whether we're in it with it or not. It's still the universe is still gonna turn and spin. And as they say, the sun will come up tomorrow. I don't care how bad. That's why if somebody is so despondent, you just say, try and hang in there till tomorrow. It'll be a different day. You're going to feel different tomorrow. You just will. Even the worst thing, you're going to have a different perspective on it tomorrow. Now, my lady, which is representing me, I gave her, I think I lost one of her arms somewhere, because I'm seeing right there that that's really short. So I'm going to have to find my arm. Oh, here it is. It's glued on the paintbrush. Anyway, I gave her arms that kind of simulate and look like branches, because I want to keep this emulating nature. So like, your rooted tree can get a little off center sometimes. But that sun will come up tomorrow, and you'll be okay, and you'll be standing straight up again. I know, because I I've lived through this, and I live through this. This happens to me, and no, it is not fun. Yes, it is scary. Yes, sometimes I feel like there's nobody I can talk to, although I do have a lot of people I can talk to. Sometimes I choose not to. I just think nobody's going to get it. Nobody gets it. Nobody just gets this. But, you know, again, there's no corners to hide. So before I get too carried away, which I often do, I need to turn the camera on so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I took these Diane Wakely stencils and I put these little faces here. Again, circular, keeping with the theme. There's no place to hide, no corners to hide. Everything's out there, including you. And then I'm just going around with her. It's the Inktense pencil. And just gonna blend her in really, really well. And then I have to color her skin and her arms and her crazy wild hair. And I think I'm gonna use some embellishments on here, like, you know, rub-ons, and just to keep lifting the layers and layers and layers. So I think the next thing I'm gonna use is maybe a few rub-ons. I don't want them to be too in your face because I'm going to be adding some text to this page right across here, and it's going to say gravity keeps pulling me off my center or something like that. So I want to put that in there. So I found some basic gray rub-ons that I had forever. I hope they work. I don't even know, does anybody know, is Basic Gray still a company? Is it still like a, it used to be a scrapbook company and paper company? I don't even know if they're still around. But anyway, I've got some of their stuff, and it used to be really, really good quality. Those blobs, and then this down here. So I only want to use 3. I'm going to cut them, so the rest of the ones I don't want don't get blended into the picture. I'm going to put that right up here. And there. I'll take the little popsicle stick, and let's hope it still works. There, that looks really, really, really cool. Then I'm going to add a little bit more bolder one across here. My dogs are crying because Richard's about to take them for a walk, and they're out there just like going berserko because they want to go for their walk. So I apologize if you can hear them in the background. And I'm going to try and incorporate just a little bit more blob so we know. See, there's a little bit of blob there, so you know it goes with that kind of. So I will put that over here. Looks like a cloud actually going across this circle. Hope you can see it because I didn't bother checking to see if the camera was catching this corner image, and I certainly hope it is. Can you see where the rub-ons, where I put them? The one on the bottom is a little bit hard to see. Let me push it up a little bit. Right there. And then I made sure that you got the little splattery part there and there and there in the top corner. And you can see those 3 faces. So I colored her in, and her hair is all black. And I think I'm going to try and put some, I think I have those black stickles in her hair so they just stand out a little bit more. Now I'm not sure if you can see on her dress or not, depending on the light. See those lines? That's called Wink of Stella, and it's shimmery. So there you can see them. So I'm just trying to add a little bit of texture to her dress because it was just painted with a pit pen, and you know, pit pens are great, but you know that you don't color it perfectly evenly. So I just thought if I just added some lines in it, it'll just add a little bit of texture when the light hits her dress. See, there's some yellow casting on there, but that's not really yellow. See, you can see that. But I put some stickles in her hair. Can you see? There you go. And then I added clocks. You see? Because, I mean, this just happens during our life. think I put 3. Oh yeah, I put a fainted one right up there. And it's just time. It just happens. It's just life. That's what happens. And you know, for the majority of this video, I've been talking about emotional pain, but there's also physical pain. And any of you that have chronic illnesses, like I have trigeminal neuralgia, and that particular chronic illness hits you like a hammer on top of your head. I don't care how centered you are. I don't care how perfect your day is going. Gravity pulls you from your center every time. So you just gotta swing back over and start over again and just keep on trucking in this crazy journey called life, you know? So I'm trying to figure out what else I want to add. I want to add something up in here. I know I'm putting text, but I think what I'm going to do is get my text ready and put it down and then see if I need to add more. So I found my text that I want to use, and I wasn't sure if it was too big or not, but Richard said no, he liked it that way. And actually I'm going to be toning it down anyway, and it fills that emptiness. So it says gravity pulls me from my center every time. And then I found some text here from a Jules Verne book, and he was a French explorer. That even makes it even cooler because he explored all around these circles. Love when it all comes together. So I am just going to glue down these pieces here. And then what I'll do is I'll go around with my charcoal pen. But before I do that, I'm going to tone all of this down with like an opaque kind of a almost like distress vintage photo, but it's not vintage photo. I think I've got an opaque paint, or I'll just make an opaque paint out of brown or something just to tone it down. I don't want it this white. All this in the background here. I want this to be toned down. I have to be real careful that I don't smoosh up my hair there, because I mean, girlfriend's got some fabuloso hair, don't you think? Okay, so I'm using my this paint. It's just watered down acrylic brown paint, and I keep 4 of these jars on my shelf, and I use them for when I'm doing splatters on your work. And it's just brown enough that you can still read, but I just didn't want all this stuff being so white. It was just, that's too wet to touch. I can touch the rub-ons, but I can't touch the clock. They're still too wet. The ink is too wet. So yeah, just dabbing it down, just taking off some of that bright. So here's my finished canvas. So it says gravity pulls me from my center every time, and then there's all our circles that we saw. And her dress with the Wink Stella. And her hair. And then all the rub-ons and stamps and masks and stencils and such. And the text. So it's a pretty big canvas, 24 by 36, so it's pretty big. But I love how it turned out. I'm going to turn this light off, and let's see if you can see it without that shimmer. At least turn it around, because the light just shimmers. Oh no, it doesn't work. It's because it's nighttime. I'll see if I can get another angle. Okay, here it is. Now when the light wasn't, it's so funny. When the camera wasn't running, it was beautifully well lit. But anyway, I'll try and go close. I guess because the colors are so dark. That's that other one that I'm not finished in, that one. So that gives you some perspective. So there you have it. So we know these times are going to happen. They are going to happen to us. You know, there's nowhere to hide. There's nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do to get away from it. It is what it is. But just know that you'll snap back. We always do. Just like a palm tree. We're not going to break. We'll just snap on back and keep on trucking. So thanks so much for watching my video. I think it's going to be a long one. I'm not sure, but I'm sorry if it is. But This was inspired by the song Circle by Alan Stone. I love it. I'll put a link in the down bar so you can hear it. It's just so good. But anyway, that's my art journal for today. Thanks for watching. Bye.